Yes, viewers, your eyes are not deceiving you. I did, in fact, put The Amazing Spider-Man as number 3 in my top 5 favorite films of 2012. Why? Well, simply put, because I like the movie. Yeah, I know a lot of other people didn't really like it for obvious reasons, but so what? It's my opinion. I thought the movie was good. But then again, it's also your opinion, too. If you didn't like the movie then, don't like the movie then. It's your opinion, too. But I just thought the movie was good, and I'm going to explain to you why I thought it was good. Now, I know a lot of people are probably saying, well, didn't you do that back in July when the movie first came out? Well, yeah, I am re-reviewing this film, but I will also be reviewing some of the content found on the Blu-ray for the movie that I got for Christmas, so there you go. So, let's get started. Now, I'll be mostly comparing this to the first Spider-Man movie, especially when I say this, that I thought this would, the reason why I thought this was more better was that it was more thought out. It was done better, like, it was more thought out, and it was a better, like, thought process than the other movies. Not the other movies, just the first movie. As an origin film, and the first movie for for a franchise. I thought it was better done. Not that I hate the first movie, I don't, I love it. I think it's, good, but it is a little bit cheesy in some parts. And it does fall flat in some, some other parts. But this film I thought was more done better. I thought not more done because that was done better in various parts that the other films fell flat, and like it didn't feel cheesy or anything, and it felt like it had stronger ground to stand on, so it didn't fall through. I guess that's like the best way to describe it. And one aspect which I thought it was better in was the acting. Not that I hated all the actors in the other films, but I didn't love them either. In this new movie, I love all of these new actors. I love them. I think they're great. I think they play these characters great. First of all, talk about is, of course, Andrew Garfield. Excuse me. Andrew Garfield as Peter Parker or Spider-Man, whatever you want to call him. He is amazing, and, well, I guess that's what the title suggests, Amazing Spider-Man. But he's great. He's absolutely spectacular in every aspect. I know a lot of people would say that, oh, what's so great about him? He just stumbles on all his lines, he's stuttering like an idiot, and he's bad. I don't like him. I want Tobey Maguire and his really monotone voice, and you can barely hear him. But the point is, like, I understand that he stutters on some of his lines, and he acts like a goofball and stuff, and he really doesn't know what he's saying half the time. But it's not really his fault, and I know a lot of people don't know that's his fault. That's like how it was written. But he doesn't know what he's saying at the time because, well, and he stutters on what he says, like I'm doing right now. And he doesn't really know what to say, like I'm doing right now. Because that's what a teenager does. And newsflash, he's playing a teenager. And again, another real reason why I like the film better than that is that they act like teenagers. They didn't do that in the other movies. Mostly because they weren't in high school all that much, but, whatever. I thought he did a better job as Peter Parker here because he acts like a teenager, and it's more realistic, and I'll get to the whole realistic thing in a minute. But I just thought he did better as Spider-Man and as Peter Parker. He acted like a teenager, and basically how most teenagers act. I stumble on some of the stuff I say. I act like a goofball sometimes, just the way it's supposed to be. And I could say that again when he's like, arguing with Aunt May, played by Sally Field, also does a good job. A lot of people are like, oh, Peter Parker would never yell at Aunt May. That's just bad. But again, it's making it a little bit more realistic because that's how teenagers would act. They would yell at people that they know and that they love because, well, they're teenagers. It's just the way they act and the way that they get things across and the way that they emote to everything. It's just that's the way they're supposed to be, and that's how teenagers act. I should know because I am a teenager, and I just sort of related to some of the stuff that was going on there, the way that he reacts, the way that he says things. It's just the way that teenagers are supposed to act, and that's just what I thought he did a good job, and why I like that they act like, why I like Andrew Garfield, because he played a good Spider-Man, Peter Parker, and a good teenager. I really like that. I also liked Emma Stone as Gwen Stacy. I'm glad they used Gwen Stacy now, but Emma Stone I liked because she's a great actress in almost anything she does. She does a great A performance in everything, and she's hot. I'm just gonna say that. It's the elephant in the room here. Everyone knows she's hot. She's hot. I'm just saying. Dennis Leary as Captain Stacy. Dennis Leary. He's good in anything. He's good in anything. he's good. It's Dennis Leary. He's good in anything. Don't need to go on anything more. But I liked a lot of stuff in here. I like that it was thought out better. I like that they acted. Most of the actors that were playing teenagers actually acted like teenagers. I like that a lot. But one thing I didn't really like was the villain, the Lizard, in this movie. Now, not that I hate the Lizard as a villain, like in the comics and the cartoons and, so forth. I don't hate the Lizard as a villain. I just thought here, it wasn't really done the way that I really wanted it to be. Like, the Lizard in the comics, he was just a guy that, they got the origin right. He was just a guy that lost an arm, and he wanted to regrow it by using, a lizard DNA, which makes sense because lizards can grow their tail back. So it only would make sense why, he would turn into a lizard because he has so much lizard DNA. He turns into a giant mutated lizard. But the thing is, he repeatedly wants to be turned back into a lizard. The difference with the comics and the cartoons, he just got turned into a lizard on accident once and then stopped, and it was just like, I can't do this. This is messed up. Here, he's like, he does it repeatedly. I know you could say that, whoa, he wants to, because he has, like multiple personalities, sort of, like, it's a mind, he's, there's, like, a voice in his head saying, oh, you gotta do it, turn into a lizard, kill Peter Parker, to make everyone else in the lizards, blah, blah, blah. But I didn't really like that. I really wish that it was just sort of, like, an accidental thing. And I know that you could say that, well, if they have him turn into a lizard, once, it'll just take place in, a whole night, instead of just, on various different dates. I get that, but you could have had him, turn into a lizard because he had so much lizard in him, repeatedly. Whenever he got, angry, Hulk reference, but I don't know, something like that. I really wish that they just did it like that, like how it was in the comics, instead of just making him a generic villain who wanted to, do the whole, shoot something up in the air and then make everyone the lizards, which is kind of cliche. But to explain it in the movie a little bit more, I found it a little cliche, but I liked it. I'm very 50-50 on that, but whatever. But a lot of people really hate this movie for various reasons. One, because I heard it on, I think IGN, the IGN review for it. Some guy said that, oh, it just, rips off a bunch of stuff from the Sam Raimi movies, and I'm just like, well, it kind of had to, because not only is it a reboot, but it's also an adaptation of a comic that's been around for more than 50 years. So it would only make sense that you would have that in some aspects it would look like it ripped off, having him mess around with the Spider-Man power ability things before he becomes Spider-Man, or various other stuff like that. Whole multiple personality sort of thing that was kind of ripped off from the first movie with the Green Goblin, when he had the whole multiple personality disorder, and stuff. That was a little bit ripped off again, the reason why I didn't like that. But stuff that is in this movie that may be ripped off from the Sam Raimi movies is not really ripped off, because it's just the way it's supposed to be. You have to show this stuff, you have to show him being bitten by the spider, you have to show Uncle Ben die and stuff like that. And other reviewers have said that too, and I'm just like, well, yeah. It's kind of what it's supposed to do. Other reviews have said it, and I will say it because it's true. It really is just true. And this is something that Jeremy John said in his review, talking about the whole myth that this is it's, basically the Dark Knight. It's not in the sense that it's being darker, but it's being in the sense that it's being realistic. He said, Jeremy Johns in his review said something it's not really the fact that it's being darker, it's just that it's taking the cheese and all the campiness away from it, and it's being more realistic. And something about a realistic truth about life is that it can be a little bit dark. And it's not exactly what he said, but it's basically the gist of what he said. And that's completely true. The life can be dark sometimes, and this movie does show dark things that happen throughout life. Someone that you know or love, like a relative, you lose. They die, and it's just life. It's being realistic. It's not being darker, it's just being realistic. Him actually acting like a teenager. It's being realistic. Instead of just some guy who acts like an adult because that's how adults write teenagers, basically. You know, they act like teenagers, making it more realistic. And that's why I like this film more, because it's actually being more realistic. And that's just personally why I like this movie more. Not that I hate the other films, but because this is just more realistic, and it's more thought out and structured. I just like it more. I like the actors, I like everything about the movie, just a little bit more than I do the first, second, and third movie altogether. I just like this film just a little bit more, and I just like it. It's just my opinion, really. Yeah, it does have some bad stuff in it, but I just personally liked it a whole lot. I'm sorry. So, now we should probably get to some of the Blu-ray features on the Blu-ray itself, seeing as how I just, went on about the movie. First of all, let's get to the sound and picture quality. Sound and picture quality on the Blu-ray is amazing. Now, I just want to get this clear. I never have seen anything on Blu-ray before, so seeing it, it was just like, oh my god, it's amazing. It's beautiful. The sound and picture quality is fantastic, and I really am expecting great things from the rest of Blu-rays. The only other Blu-ray I have is Dark Knight Rises. Same thing, picture quality looks great, but I'll get into more when I talk more about that. Ooh, maybe even number 1 or 2, who knows? Sound picture quality is great. And also, some of the special features on the back, I'll just read them off. You get, something that's really cool is like a 90-minute, featurette or, documentary. Mostly featurette, behind the scenes, titled, Rite of Passage, The Amazing Spider-Man Reborn. It's like a 90-minute, behind the scenes from, start of the film to, the finish, reception of the film. It's really good. It's really amazing. It's probably, again... you also get some of the pre-visual sequences, which I believe were going through making them these little the CGI and getting that to work and look nice. And you also get image progression reels. I haven't checked that out yet. I'll get to that soon. You also get some various deleted scenes, and some of these scenes are also alternate scenes, and they really should have kept those in the film. There's a scene, alternate scene of how Uncle Ben died. They literally should have kept that in there. I like that a lot more than the scene where Uncle Ben died in the theoretical release. I just like that a lot more better. Also, some other deleted scenes really should have been in the film, especially one where Peter and Dr. Connors are both in the little sewer lab. It goes into more about how and why Dr. Connors wants to turn everyone in New York City into a wizard. That should have been in the film. I'm sorry. It just should have. You also get a audio commentary with the director Mark Webb, producer Avi Arad, and Matt Tolmich, I believe. And you also get stunt rehearsals in the Oscorp Archives Production and Art Gallery. Which is really cool. So if you get this, definitely check it out. Go get the Amazing Spider-Man DVD. It's really great. And stay tuned for my last 2 films. I will count down my top 5 favorite films. I'll see you soon, guys.